put as many online, on Facebook, on social media, and it'll give you the latest on these two pockets of rotation. We'll return you to regularly scheduled programming. Okay, I'm going to keep my mic and IFB on. I'm shutting the mic off. Jeff, I can barely hear you, but yep. All right, so weather-wise, let's talk about what's going on. And I apologize, folks, I'm in the different studio here. All right, so for those of you online, still have this tornado warning in effect until at least 4:15. I have a feeling, though, that this may be extended. So again, I'm going to be behind the camera here. We're just watching for these two areas of rotation. Let me take off this track here. Bear with me, folks. So we have two areas of rotation that we're watching out for. I'm a lot more concerned about the one over Lancaster at the moment. That is what we're watching for here, and then a broader area of rotation towards the Tradesville area, and that's moving towards Pageland. So again, these are the two spots that we're watching out for at the moment. As we switch it back to our radar, I might zoom out a bit, I apologize here. So again, quite a bit of lightning, quite a bit of wind as this continues off to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So here's what it looks like on radar. This is with the rain included, that kind of thing here. We're noticing that little bit of a hook echo starting to move over Lancaster, and then also here's the new scan, a little bit of a notch also showing up over the Tradesville area. And as we switch it back over to our velocity scan, yeah, that's exactly where the two pockets are. So we really, really need to watch this carefully. If you're in Lancaster County, especially between Lancaster proper and Tradesville, you need to be in your safe spot right now. So we're watching out for these areas of rotation. So what we're looking at here is the Charlotte radar. Green values, they're pointing towards the radar, going that way. Red is going away from the radar, pointing in a more southerly direction. So when we have these two little combinations going on, that can create rotation, and the same deal is going on over in Tradesville. So I'm going to take all this off for you here. Remember, you need to put as many walls between you and the storm as you can, especially if you're in Lancaster. So let's talk about this first area of rotation back to the west. Zoom in. Right now it's going to be crossing right over South Carolina Route 200 towards the Unity and New Cut towns, as well the communities of Unity and New Cut. So watching out for that. And again, this whole line here is spinning quite a bit. And for those of you that aren't really familiar with the area that we're looking at, I just want to give everyone a good way to orient themselves here. And I apologize, that's the precip rate. What we're looking at is this line. It's south of Charlotte. So it's south and east of I-85. Zooming out a little bit further, you see it's central and eastern Lancaster County and extreme northwestern Chesterfield County, heading towards Jefferson and Pageland. So I'm going to switch it back to our velocity scan here. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because this is where the areas of rotation are starting to show up. So actually, this was the original pocket of rotation that was starting to show up here. This is near the Tradesville area, and that's moving eastward at about 35 miles per hour towards Pageland. So if you're in Pageland as well, northwestern Chesterfield County, you have to be in your safe spot. Again, putting as many walls between you and the storm as you can. But there's also a second area of rotation that showed up pretty much right as we went on air originally at about 4 o'clock. That just started to show up and may have dropped something very quick near the Lancaster area. And here's what we've been talking about pretty much all since yesterday. A lot of these little quick spin-ups, they're going to be exactly that. They may produce something very tiny within the next 5 minutes, and then as soon as it pretty much drops down, it comes back up. So again, this is what we need to watch out for over the coming really next couple of hours, especially south and east of the metro. The good news is I'm not seeing a whole lot of rotation everywhere else, but again, Lancaster proper has to be in your safe space, especially just as now it's crossed over 521 and now it's heading towards South Carolina Route 522. There's another one east of 522 that's right over the Tradesville area as well. So I'm going to switch back to our general radar here and just kind of show you how quickly this line is moving. If you remember yesterday, we had the really slow moving heavy storms that dumped 6 to 7 inches of rain in areas like Stanley County to Anson County, Richmond County areas that are starting to see some heavy rain now. The good news is this is moving very quickly. So again, as we zoom back in, Lancaster proper needs to be in your safe space. The Pageland area, Tradesville as well, they need to be in their safe spots. So there are 2 areas of rotation again that I'm watching out for at the moment as I switch it back on. And the good news is, again, it looks a little bit more raggedy here. That's very good news indeed. But we still need to stay weather-wise that this could drop something very quickly if it hasn't already. So the good news is I'm going to pull up the latest on the tornado warning. I don't think there's anything confirmed. There's nothing confirmed at the moment. It's just radar indicated rotation. That means there hasn't been anything showing up on radar that suggests debris is being thrown up. There isn't any visual confirmation. But you have to treat these storms as if they are actively producing a tornado as this continues off to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So pretty quick moving. But as this moves off to the east, again, these are the areas that I need to watch out for. So I'm going to put a rotation track a storm track for you here. Just need to get the correct properties. There we go. So this is moving pretty much due east, maybe east-southeast. And Tradesville, again, especially south of Tradesville, maybe in under the gun once again. It's going to head towards the Tradesville area by 4:30, followed by Taxahaw shortly after that. This may end up just south of Pageland, the second area of rotation. But the lead one, which is looking significantly weaker, again, that's good news, but still easily could quickly spin up something. And there actually may even be a second one or a third one, if you will, trying to pull up just over Pageland. So again, Pageland, if you're watching from the Pageland area, that could be another area right here, and then followed by one right over Tradesville. So it looks like there are 3 areas of rotation now that we need to track out for over the coming really hour or so. And of course, we will stay on the air here over the next 30 minutes at the very least. Should a new warning be issued, of course, we'll keep through that as well. So we are watching out for some power outages. Looks like we only have 1 reported at the moment, so that's very good news that we're not seeing any outages with this system. The good news is as well, the wind hasn't been especially strong, but the thing is, we don't really need strong winds to see a tornado. What that's mainly based around is how much energy, how much atmospheric energy there is that provides that updraft, because that's exactly what tornadoes are. They're a rotating updraft that comes in contact with the ground, and of course, unfortunately, that's where you can see some damage. So again, there are 3 areas of rotation now that I'm watching out for at the moment. Still watching out over Lancaster, watching for Tradesville, and watching out for Pageland. As that comes through, we now have 350 outages in South Carolina. That's not all in Lancaster and Chester, though. There's some more severe storms farther down to our south. But right now, again, the good news is we're not seeing widespread outages, which suggests, hey, this may not be causing a whole lot of damage. At the same time, though, you need to put as many walls between you and the storm as you can. An interior bathroom, underneath a staircase, if you can, underneath door frames, as well in a centralized location of your home. Again, it's all about putting as much protection between you and the storm as you can. This warning still goes for at least until 4:15. We'll see if this gets extended, though, because I'm still seeing these pockets of rotation showing up. And I'm going to reset my little circles here so you can see everything just a little bit clearer. Now, as we go through heading into the evening, this is really the line that we're going to want to watch out for. What's coming behind it, I'm not as concerned about. It doesn't seem to be filling in over the next hour or so. Of course, we still want to keep a close eye on this, but this rotation is actually starting to tighten again, just north of Lancaster, northeast of Lancaster now. I'm definitely a little bit more concerned about this here. I'm seeing those higher values just disappear, though, with that newer scan, so that's the very good news as well. This is heading towards the Dwight Crossroads area, South Carolina 9, and then it's going to head also, it's probably going to run right over the Dwight Crossroads area, heading towards Tradesville and Buford. That's 522. That's South Carolina Route 522. So watching out, again, for 3 areas of rotation at the moment. And right now, we're gonna leave you off to break here. But of course, we will keep you posted. If there's any new rotation that shows up, we'll be sure to let you know. We're going to move over downtown Lancaster and now towards the north and east. We have Pageland next in line here. We're going to switch over to our rotation track. And the good news is it looks a lot more raggedy than it did just about 5-10 minutes ago. So generally speaking, this rotation is weakening. That said, it does look like this is pretty serious. It looks like a new